Live from this news center of the Sultanate of Oman television here, we present to you tonight's news bulletin. But first, the headlines. His Highness Sayyid Yazin bin Haytham Al Saeed, Minister of Culture, Sports and Youth, presides over His Majesty's Football Cup finals for season 2019-2020 between the Far and Al Uruba. Their Excellencies, the Foreign Ministers of the Sultanate and Bahrain, discuss means of developing relations between both brotherly countries and matters of common concern. And the General Authority for Special Economic and Free Zones signs a bid for the development, management and operation of multi-purpose fishing port and related projects in Duqm. Good evening once again, and thank you for joining us. Those were the headlines, and now the details. His Highness Sayyid Yazin bin Haytham Al Saeed, Minister of Culture, Sports and Youth, is presiding over His Majesty's Football Cup finals for the season 2019-2020 between the Far and Al Uruba today. In a statement to Oman News Agency, ONA, His Highness said that since its inception, His Majesty's Football Tournament Cup has contributed to the development of football in the Sultanate and has always been a true translation of the royal attention accorded by His Majesty the Sultan to the sports sector in general and football in particular. The Minister of Culture, Sports and Youth explained that His Majesty's Football Tournament has left a clear footprint in terms of developing the skills of the players, referees, coaches and uplifting their technical standard through training and preparation for matches. This has resulted in many football players shooting to stardom and becoming important additions to the national teams. So far, the match continues without scoring any goals. The Wilaya of Rustaq is surrounded by Al-Hajar Mountains, and from the north there is the Wilaya's gateway to other wilayas such as Al-Masuna and As-Suwaiq. The Omani customs and traditions are present in the Wilaya of Rustaq along with the generous hospitality of the citizens in the Wilaya. The guests of the Wilaya are served with Omani halwa and kafi. Rustaq is considered a rural area and it is common for the citizens to gather in one place for various occasions and celebrations. There are a number of touristic and archaeological landmarks in the Wilaya along with well-known springs such as Ain al-Kasfa. The Rustaq Castle is considered one of the historical features of the Wilaya, along with Hazm Castle. There are around 200 Falaj in the Wilaya of Rustaq. During the Blessed Renaissance era, the Wilaya witnessed developments in many fields as the main services and facilities are also available. The sports field also was within the generous attention of the Blessed Renaissance. The Rustaq Sports Complex was opened in 2019. It can accommodate around 17,000 of the audience and sports fans. This evening is hosted the finals of His Majesty's Cup, in which the Far is playing against Al Uruba. Bilateral relations between the Sultanate and Bahrain, means of improving them and consultations on a number of issues of mutual concern topped discussions of His Excellency Sayyid Badr bin Hamad Al Busaidi, Foreign Minister, with His Excellency Dr. Abdul Latif bin Rashid Al Zayani, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Bahrain. The meeting was held at the General Diwan of the Minister of Foreign Affairs. His Excellency Sayyid Badr bin Hamad bin Hamoud Al Busaidi, Foreign Minister, during a phone call with His Excellency Mohammed Javad Zarif, Iranian Foreign Minister, conveyed the Sultan's condolences in the killing of the Iranian scientist Mohsen Fakhrizadeh and condemned such act and all that contradict with the humanitarian and international laws. The Institute for Economics and Peace in Australia sorted the Sultanate as one of the countries in the Middle East and North Africa least affected by terrorist attacks, according to a monthly report on Annual Global Terrorism Index 2020. The report pointed out that the number of terrorism victims in the world reached 13,826 back in 2019. It also indicated that 63 countries were at least under one terrorist attack during last year, which is considered the lowest number since 2013. The General Authority for Special Economic and Free Zones has assigned a bid for the development, management and operation of multi-purpose fishing port and related projects in the Special Economic Zone at Duqm to a consortium of Omani and international companies led by the Fisheries Development Oman, one of the state-owned groups supervised by the Oman Investment Authority. The alliance will invest 50 million Omani riyals to develop, manage and operate the port with the possibility of expanding its facility and services. The agreement, which extends for 28 years, stipulates that the alliance pays 15% of the annual net profits to the authority, in addition to the annual fees charged in exchange for usufruct right, assigning 10% of the business to small and medium enterprises and achieving Omanization rates. It's worth noting that the fishing port of Duqm is 10 meters deep and contains a complex for fish and food industries. The port will soon provide its services to fishermen, commercial fishing vessels, livestock ships and ships designated for transporting foodstuffs, in addition to some other facilities. The blood banks are in need of more donors within the current situation of COVID-19 pandemic. More details in the following report.
Despite difficulties resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic that caused a decline in the number of blood donation campaigns due to the precautionary measures taken and a general reluctance to donate since the onset of the pandemic, the statistics show that the number of blood units collected from blood donors in the Central Blood Bank had reached almost 24,000 units, 75% of which were collected from Omanis.
A provision of adequate blood supply is very challenging during the pandemic. Most of the blood banks suffered from some shortages during this time due to increased demand. In Oman, we have many cases that require sustainable blood supply, like sickle cell disease, thalassemia, surgeries, and also some cases of COVID require blood supply.
The Department of Blood Bank Services cautions that despite this increase, the supply still shows a decrease every once in a while due to the increasing demand from the health institutions. Depending on the need of the patients, the Central Blood Bank supplies these institutions with blood units or their components. One such component that is in demand this year is the plasma extracted from the blood units of recovered COVID-19 patients.
The sample will be received in the lab. The sample will be tested for blood grouping and antibody screen. It also will be subjected for the transfusion-transmitted infection disease testing. Recently, we introduced the NAT test also to increase the safety of the products. We will test for the RNA and DNA of the virus using the NAT technology.
The department faces much difficulty with organizing blood donation campaigns amid the current happenings, as many entities concerned are fearful of the spread of the virus, despite the possibility of putting forth some precautionary measures. Still, the department remains hopeful of their cooperation. As the pandemic has caused unprecedented challenge to blood supply, all of us whom are capable should join the national effort and donate blood to save the lives of those who need it. The existence of the current pandemic does not necessarily imply the disappearance of the continued need for blood donations. Blood banks urge all those capable to donate, for it may save a life, and saving one life is akin to saving all of humanity. From the Department of Blood Bank Services, Ahmed Mahmoud Al-Hanai, Muscat.
Ahmed, thank you very much. There, as you said, there is a national call for donation of the blood, so let's respond to that call. The Ministry of Higher Education, Scientific Research and Innovation has issued decisions regarding recognition of educational qualifications of non-Omani higher education institutions and their equivalents. Meanwhile, the ministry decided not to recognize a number of non-Omani educational institutions due to the low academic level of these institutions and because of them are fake and have no geographic location on the ground. The names of all the recognized non-Omani higher education institutions are enlisted in the ministry's website. You are with the Sultanate of Oman television, and yet to come in our news bulletin. Unified preventive driver's license for the energy sector is launched. Welcome back to the Sultanate of Oman television. The Minister of Health announced that the total number of COVID-19 cases registered in the Sultanate reached 123,484. The Minister also reported that COVID-19 fatalities reached 1,418. The total recovery cases reached 114,963. 33 people were hospitalized during the past 24 hours, taking the total number of inpatients in hospitals to 256, including 107 in intensive care units. On the occasion of the 50th Glorious National Day, the Uzbekistan government television broadcasted a report on the Omani-Uzbekistan relations. The report talked about the cooperation relations between the two countries in the political, economic and cultural fields, in addition to reviewing the touristic potentials in the Sultanate, which make it a beautiful destination, includes historical buildings and landmarks, as well as unique nature. Now, improving health services training and qualifying health cadres and providing health institutions in the Governorate of Musandam with modern devices will contribute in enhancing the health services in the Governorate. Health projects and facilities are being implemented in order to enhance healthcare services in the 4 wilayas of the Governorate. This comes within the Directorate General of Health Services plans to improve the quality of health services in the Governorate. The Department of Health Services in the Governorate will be upgraded into a Director General, which will lead to an expanding scope of work in the health institutions there. It's worth mentioning that there are 7 health institutions in the Governorate of Musandam, and work is going on to increase the number of these institutions and improving health system efficiency there. The Oman Credit and Financial Information Center, Mala, signed a memorandum of understanding with Jasur Corporation to provide credit and financial information to service providers, individuals and companies supplying or implementing projects for cooperation, which is the investment arm of Sohar Aluminium Valley, Oman and Ukuko. This cooperation comes within the framework of Mala's Center's work as a national reference for credit and financial information that helps decision makers to make sound decisions based on clear data to evaluate the sound financial solvency of customers. The Minister of Commerce, Industry and Investments Promotion cooperations with the Authority for Public Services Regulations prepared 4 projects with Omani standard specification for household electrical devices. The ministry aimed to implement the national plan in the field of reducing the electrical energy consumption and to find alternatives from the different renewable energy sources and benefits from the developed industrial technologies. The ministry also aimed to force the companies to provide devices in the local market with more efficiency and consuming less electrical energy. Within the framework of 50th National Day celebration, the Oman Society for Petroleum Services, OPA, launched the Unified Preventive Driver's Licenses for Energy Sector. Here is a full report on that.
During the ceremony, companies and committees that contributed to the Unified Defensive Driving Permit projects for the energy sector were honored. It's noteworthy that the Unified Defensive Driving Permit for the energy sector is an integrated and recognized driving license for the whole energy sector and allows drivers to drive throughout the sector with a single document that is periodically renewed to ensure commitment to safe driving skills and behaviors to achieve a driving environment free of injuries or accidents. With Unified Defensive Driving Permit, qualified drivers will be able to drive in all concession areas, followed by advanced training and evaluation. This initiative will save operators and contractors time and efforts in training or testing drivers. In addition, annual cost of up to 6 million Omani riyals for the sector will be saved.
This unified defensive driving will ensure a collaborative and unified approach for the energy sector, which will save time, effort and money to the entire companies working in this sector by having this license. In particular, also the objective of the unified defensive license to be also expanded to other sectors in country.
Another milestone during the ceremony was awarding the winners of member companies with Opal Awards for best practices. After a fair competition between oil institutions and companies, PDO, Shlambaja Oman and Sehal Suraya won awards in the health and safety category. In the Omanization category, Occidental of Oman and Ash-Shawamikh were among the winners. OQ Company, Al Hassan Engineering Company and Al Baraka Oil Services Company were crowned in the category of technical and operational excellence. In the environmental category, PDO and Oman Cement Company took the crowns.
The environmental initiative which Oman Cement Company has won it today, it was a work from our competitive staff to utilize the material which is produced by a refinery, and it have an environmental concern. We have conducted many research to utilize and recycle this material and use it as a raw material.
This program we have started some 5 years ago. We realized that traditionally doing things in evolution process, we are doing a number of wasteful activities which we are not able to eliminate. So we hired a consultant, we did the whole process and started seeing what are the activities which are not adding any value to remove them. And in the process, we were able to optimize our cost, we were able to improve our quality.
PDO and Petrofac were crowned in the Omani product category. As for the research and development category, it went to Dalil Petroleum. In the energy transition category, the award went to Petroleum Development Oman.
Now to the governorate of Dakhliya. Beit al-Safa in the Wilaya of Al-Hamra is considered one of the ancient archaeological houses. It has been turned into a museum to portray the Omani heritage. More details coming up in this report.
Located at the foot of the mountains in the Wilaya of Al-Hamra in the Dakhliya Governorate, the old village of Al-Hamra comprises ancient houses, which at a first glance from above, they resemble a set of castles and forts, and evidence of the brilliance of Omanis in engineering and construction. Among these beautiful ancient houses in the old village of Al-Hamra, we find a living museum called Beit al-Safa, which is 400 years old. Beit al-Safa provides an exceptional experience resembling the ancient Omani lifestyle. Let us discover more about this living museum. At sunrise, this wood-carved door of Beit al-Safa opens to reveal glimpses of the residents' life, spanning to 4 centuries.
Beit al-Safa, it's called Beit al-Safa. Beit mean house, al-Safa big shinestone. So this house built in big shinestone as a foundation. And now we keep this house for show Omani lifestyle traditional. And this house is built 400 year old. This house including 3 floors and many parts inside. The kitchens, they show the traditional handcraft and what we do Omani in the past. And another part is like sitting rooms, it's called majlis, and like dressing rooms, and there's also like dining rooms. Also in Beit al-Safa you can see many handcraft available, so like who's make sewing and who's make like women that make in kitchens. They make Omani breads and how to make argan oils. You can see how to make flour from the manual machines.
History is embodied in every corner of Beit al-Safa. The magnificent structure of this house with the combination of the traditional objects and the ancient Omani furniture offer a valuable experience to the visitors to relive the historical Omani lifestyle. صالح بن خلفان الرحبي, ولاية of الحمراء الداخلية, Governorate.
The extended weekend, of which it included 2 days designated as National Day holidays connected with the weekend, was an opportunity for citizens and residents alike as individual families toured around the Sultanate. I was among those particular people, and I managed actually to catch some of these particular clips. Here are the details. The long weekend of 4 days brought joys to the families throughout the Sultanate. The extended weekend, of which it included 2 days designated as National Day holidays connected with the weekend, was an opportunity for citizens and residents alike, where individual families cruised across the Sultanate exploring and enjoying majestic scenery of Hajar Mountains, wadis, deserts and beautiful seaside views, accompanied with good winter weather, while remaining safe and healthy by following all preventive measures of coronavirus. On the way, one would come around animals such as camels, where they are seen throughout these places, while others are seen transported in small pickups, sitting peacefully, giving a lesson of adjustment in life. These camels are transported to a destination where they will be participating in a running competition or beauty pageants. Other species of animals are also seen around. Some families tend to stop to have a closer look of these species.
We are enjoying beautiful weather in our country. We strictly follow preventive measure.
We came to Bandar Khairan to enjoy this nice weather. It's amazing spot, very nice nature and wind. But because of Corona, we have to be very careful. We have to take all precautions, wear mask, always do social distancing, and we are only with our family.
Tourism and agriculture are important contributors to the development of the local economy. Here, we can see some of the tourists buying fresh vegetables coming direct from the local farms.
Assalamu alaikum. The past 4 days have been an excellent opportunity for us, a small family living in Izwa, to explore the beauty of Oman and its culture, while being very faithful in following the preventive measures to keep ourselves and others protected from COVID-19. Indeed, it has been a wonderful spending the past 4 days in this beautiful climate that Oman is currently witnessing.
The 4-day touring activities has indeed given time for families to be out of their houses and enjoy the nature while refreshing themselves, ready to be back to work. Abdullah bin Ahmed Al-Rabi'i, Sultanate of Oman Television, Muscat. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman Television, and before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Highness Sayyid Yazan bin Haytham Al Saeed, Minister of Culture, Sports and Youth, presides over His Majesty's Football Cup finals for season 2019-2020 between Dhafar and Al Uruba. Their Excellencies, the Foreign Ministers of the Sultanate and Bahrain, discuss means of developing relations between both brotherly countries and matters of common concern. And the Public Authority for Spatial Economic and Free Zones assigns a bid for the development, management and operation of multi-purpose fishing port and related projects in Duqm. And with that, we do conclude this news bulletin, brought to you live from this news center of the Sultanate of Oman Television. The football is still continuing on the other side there, without fans, of course, but this is due to the coronavirus. But our eyes are on the screen. We wish all the best for our colleagues down there, Al Uruba and the Far. Thank you for watching.